Hello, everyone. Welcome to MindBody TV. I am Dr. Kinderemo. I am going to be sharing in our broadcast today something really potent, really powerful that applies to everyone. And as we've been on this theme in the last few weeks about the divine masculine energy, the divine feminine energy, or as I have learned to understand them, the alpha and the omega, these potent electromagnetic currencies that run through our body and bring health or activation of manifestation, resolution of disease, resolution of conflict and challenges and lack, and so many things that literally like suck up all of our energy in our lives. Where when we're aligned in these energies coursing through our body, it literally creates abundance. And one of the main things I've seen that blocks that creation and blocks that manifestation is we sort of like suppress our full expression. And so I've talked about this in the last couple of weeks episodes about organic expression and how that heals your body, heals your relationships, invites in wealth. And then the programs that we get stuck in that are like the program expression, or what usually happens when we're in the program is suppression. Like, I'm just going to fake it. I'm not really in tune with what I'm feeling, so I don't even know. And one of the main things that happens is that this blocks our life from manifesting and the wealth and abundance and love and health from coming into our lives. And it's sort of like a 3-step process of that awakening process. And then there is like where we get stuck and we shut it down. And I'm going to talk about that today because I think this is like a really important thing to understand. It's like where we're in our own fear, in our own suppression, and we literally block embodiment. So, welcome. I would love to hear where you're tuning in from. I am in Durango, Colorado, and we did have an incredible, really powerful workshop yesterday that I did with my husband, Mario Terez Leon. He's also a physician. It was the best workshop he and I have ever done together, hands down, and something that everyone would benefit from who is looking to be in a conscious partnership. So whether you're in a partnership or you're not, or you're in one that's like not working great or working okay, but like, wow, I wonder if it could be so much better, or you're single, but you're really interested in being in a conscious partnership. We shared our journey, but we also walked you through really potent tools. Like, we've spent tens of thousands of dollars easily just on getting more conscious in our relationship, learning tools to deepen our connection and actually like embodiment in a way that we can be in harmony and in passion and more in love, and like really activate that getting out of the program. And it's worked. Like, it's been a freaking miracle of how much more in love we are, more every single year. And so these are the tools that have really powerfully worked for us. And in this workshop, we're guiding you through that journey. And no, you do not have to spend tens of thousands of dollars. The investment was only $500. I'm going to share the link right here. It's at drkimd.com/alive. And you'll have that workshop recording. It is one of the most powerful investments you could possibly make for creating conscious partnership in your life, whether you're partnered already or single, that will change your life. And it literally shifted the people who were on there with us live, where there was a ton of energy released, a ton of realizations had. And we give you in that workshop an exercise you can do every day to develop that within yourself, because the way your energy system is structured is literally going to create the partnership that comes into your life. It's not about what you say. It's not about what you do. It's not about, I don't know, how loving a person you are. It's about your electromagnetic alignment, because that's what's going to create those kinds a relationship, like how do other people feel you, is way more important than your intentions. Your best intentions aren't realized if it's not embodied. Okay, so that is on offer. The whole Alive Woman course is a part of that. The workshop is well worth the investment just for that workshop alone. And you will have that right away when you register for the Alive Woman course. So I did really want to touch on that. One of the things that was really powerful, someone shared, she said, and here's another physician actually, who shared, wow, I really feel capable of bringing my husband on board with what I'm doing in this work. Mario shared in the video that he's a Harvard, Yale, and Columbia trained physician. He's, a homemaker, not like a yogi up on a mountain who's sharing his spiritual principles. He's like, I'm a dad. I'm in my life. I want to manifest amazing life. And it's a man like a lot of people, especially men, could really receive from. And he also shared his journey of like finding a lot of mentors, but it was not tangible, and they're not actually living the life that he wanted to live. Right? It's like they're single, they've got multiple partners, they're maybe doing tantric exercises, but it wouldn't really apply to himself and like the life he wanted to live in a long-term monogamous relationship, creating a career and family. So I think this is a really valuable resource for so many men to be able to receive this work from, who might not be able to hear it from someone else, because it can get really airy-fairy. But from like, conventionally trained physician who's been super successful implementing this for his career, for his own personal expansion, and for his relationship, it's really unbelievable. So, thank you, Judith. Yesterday's workshop was so powerful, many tears and so much released. Kim said the program is powerful. Just a few of the tools I've done so far was wow, all caps. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I'd love you guys to share your experience so far with Alive Woman. We just started yesterday. You can still come into the program. You'll have that workshop available. Kelly, the program yesterday was so powerful, life-giving. I felt a big energetic shift. That is awesome. Oh, thanks, you guys. Such an incredible workshop yesterday. I'm really glad to hear that. I literally felt was one of the most powerful things I've ever done. So I'm really excited to share that. One of the big pieces I've seen from women, and this goes into the topic we're talking about today, is that we have learned or like been taught to shut down our full embodiment. It's either not appropriate to be that way, because when we fully embody, you're going to feel everything and you're going to need to be expressed. You're going to need to really, make sounds or make choices that are aligned with what you're aware of. You can't keep following the status quo and doing what everyone expects of you and everyone thinks you should do when you tune into the truth. It's going to change everything. And so that's one of the big things is like, wow, am I actually living in suppression and I just haven't realized it? And that's why I don't have enough energy. And that's why I never have enough time. That's why I feel so unsupported or unloved or have no sex drive or have no health or fill in the blank. You're shutting down your own energy. And so in this sort of like 3 stages of awakening, I love the way Aaron Abke talks about it, because he talks about first, there's the mountain. Then there is no mountain. Then there is the mountain. And what he's referring to is first we're like in this world and like, yeah, here's the stuff. Here's the rules. Here's the thing. It is what it is. I got to do what I got to do. We just try to like manage that. Then we begin to awaken and realize, wait a minute, life is responding to my consciousness. As I think, so it shows up. My beliefs affect my reality. I'm energy, not just physical. There is no mountain means like, whoa, it's all just energy. It's actually not solid. Everything is in constant flux and constant change. And we do see this scientifically. We see that when we look at, a physical thing. I always bring these and wear them on my bracelet every day because it's my little hair thing, right? This hair thing looks physical. It's this rubbery plastic thing. And yeah, it's physical. No, when we actually look at the subatomic level, it's all just energy. It's not actually separate. Those little electrons and the particles aren't just over here. They're moving everywhere all at once, but it shows up as physical. It shows up as solid. It shows up as separate. When we understand that there is no mountain, quote unquote, so to speak, we understand that everything is in constant flux and constant change and is in fact responding to my consciousness. Now, the solid physical things are moving at a slower vibration. They are still affected by the energy they're in. But the more fluid things like a human body or our emotions, our thoughts, our actions, our money are even less physically solid. They're moving at a higher frequency. They are more directly and immediately and powerfully affected by my energy and my consciousness. And so how a person shows up in relationship or doesn't show up has everything to do with the frequency I'm in. And you'll see this, like those of you, and you can share, who've been practicing this work for a while, who are in the Embracing Health program, who've done more work with me, you have seen evidence of this. Whether you think it's big or you think it's small, you do begin to practice with this. Wow, I did this, clearing work. I've practiced the embodiment tools you've given me in the MindBody toolkit, or which actually we have it available on Audible. I did want to make sure I shared that because we just came out with the audiobook version of the MindBody toolkit. This is a great way to start practicing the tools. They are so powerful. They are so immediate. And you will begin to notice a change. And we're going much deeper with this in the other work we're doing, like the Alive Woman course. But this is a great place to start, drkimd.com/book for the physical or the audio version. But if you're practicing this, start to pay attention. It might be something subtle like, whoa, my body feels so much more relaxed after I did that tool. Or, oh my gosh, my kids' behavior has changed. We just had people report back who've been working with us. My kids who had ADHD and behavioral problems and anxiety are no longer having those problems because of the work I've done, right? Because of the work the parent has done. And so that is not uncommon because it's all energy. And so you start noticing, whoa, I wonder what else could shift and change in my life as a result of my embodiment. And so that's that second stage, is like, is it actually physically real, solid, separate, or is everything in flux? And we realize in that second stage of awakening, the whole there is no mountain is it shows up as a physical thing, a disease, a problem, this person is a narcissist, right? But is it actually real and true? No. Everything is impacted by the energy it's in. Everything is actually pure energy. And so everything's changeable. It's not a physical stuck. The mountain is what it is. Things are always changing. But here's where, for me, was a huge turning point, and the whole reason I created the Alive Woman program. And this is where I see so many, especially women, block abundance, is that third place, right? Which is, and then there is the mountain. What is that, right? Can I be in this world, but not of it? Can I embody and interact with the physical reality while always knowing I've transcended it? I'm not in this world. I'm not, be in this world, but not of it. I can still be in a human body, right? Second stage. I'm an infinite being having a spiritual experience, have a physical experience. But how do I then embody? And embody the physical, the sensual, how I eat my food, how I make love to my partner, how I am with my children in that consciousness, right? It's not just about transcending it. Now that you transcend it, come back in and embody it with that higher awareness. And this is the place I see so many people stop, because when we come into embodiment, it isn't comfortable. Maybe we've suppressed a lot of fear, a lot of pain, a lot of shame, a lot of anger, fill in the blank. And we just rather keep avoiding that. Thank you very much. So we stay in that second stage and we do not enter embodiment. And so we cannot powerfully manifest. Maybe there's trauma and I've learned to overcome it, right? I'm positive. I'm spiritual. I'm above it. You cannot enter manifestation if you think the spiritual is above the physical. You can't, right? So a lot of spiritual practices will teach that. That's where I was after finishing medical school and residency. And I was dried up. I was exhausted. I was very stoic. I was not having fun. But I was like spiritual, but it wasn't manifesting in my life. I had to work hard, keep going. I was always like disappointed in my relationships. It wasn't the like abundance of this rich, amazing life is here to contribute to me kind of experience. I didn't know how to let that in. And so the tools that I walk you through in the Alive Woman course are exactly that. How do I be in this world, but not of it? How do I enter that third stage of awakening? Do not stop at the second stage, right? So that second stage is the masculine consciousness. I am all of it, right? I am none of it. It's not real. I don't need to play in it as if it is real. I don't need to follow those rules. I know everything is responding to me. So I transcend, which is awesome, but don't stop there because the Omega, the feminine, is about embodiment. And in that third stage of awakening, it's conscious embodiment. It's conscious manifestation. It's not like the first stage, right? Because in that first stage, I got to have the house, I got to have the thing, I got to make my body perfect, and then I'll be happy. Yeah, we transcend that. In stage 2, we realize, wait a minute, my joy comes from within me, not from outside of me. I can cultivate that. I can cultivate the consciousness of joy. I can cultivate the consciousness of peace. But you do want to bring that to the third stage because this is how you are living as a contribution. It's all well and good just to be in the consciousness. And it is awesome. And that is way further than most people have gone. But what if we now enter embodiment and we live as the expression of that divinity and we live as the expression of that joy? Very few tread here. And I'm so grateful I learned this because I want to be enjoying my body. I want to be enjoying my food and the richness of being able to feel, sense, touch, taste, experience, and receive life. I want to be able to connect with my children, right? Not just transcend the pain and transcend the fear and transcend the trauma. I want to actually be able to be in embodiment. And that is the place where I've put the emphasis of my work for healing and for what we're doing in Alive Woman. Sexuality is not wrong. I've got to transcend it. I shouldn't have any desires. Yeah, don't be in the stage 1. I got to have this and I got to have that. And we're just like in this disconnected, unconscious, hedonistic, give me more. And it's a never-ending emptiness, right? But once we've transcended that, we do want to enter the embodiment. Can I be in sensuality as a divine expression? Can I be in that receivership of embodied manifestation as a spiritual practice? And I haven't seen that. That's the feminine. That's the divine feminine. We are both, whether you're man or woman or whatever, you have both. And if they're in health and divine alignment and authenticity, you're going to have physical health. You're going to have wealth come into your life. You're going to have your relationships reflect that. And your relationships really contribute to your growth and well-being. So it's not, you don't have to be in rejection of embodiment and manifestation just because in the first stage you got consumed by it. So you don't have to be in rejection. And that's where I see so many women rejecting. And now it's like, I can't eat these 50 foods. I can only eat these 3 foods, right? But there's no joy in that necessarily, right? Or I got to do these practices all day, every day, but there's no flow in my life. So if it isn't joy, it's not your end result. You're still figuring out, you're still resolving something. And I'm also a dude, so I actually think I might buy the course because it sounds fun. So I want to make a special invitation to men because Mario has been a part of this course. It will be so deeply, unthinkably nurturing to you. And from what I saw yesterday and what we shared, well worth the investment just for that alone. But guess what? You have feminine energy in you as well. And I guarantee you, when you go through some of the exercises that are in the Alive Woman course, which we're going to actually shift as we evolve into, like, add some pieces into it that make it more well-rounded for men, because there's so many men that are benefiting from this. You will align that inner feminine energy, which is the omega energy, right? Omega is the inner, the unseen, the receiver, right? You think of the sexuality, the man is the penetrator, just in the anatomy. The masculine is the penetrator, the woman is the receiver. So soft, wet, dark, the unseen. You know, we have 2 little kids. One's genitals are external and they're seen, one's are internal, the feminine, and they're unseen. What's in there? It's a big mystery. Well, that's the feminine and masculine nature. What's happened in this society is we've massively overloaded on the masculine. Do more, be productive, keep going, push ahead, overcome. And we've completely neglected and actually shamed and suppressed the feminine, and that affects men and women. The exercise we showed in the workshop yesterday changed our life when he learned to do the feminine embodiment, meaning he learned to give some airtime to his feminine energy. Now, my husband happens to be a very alpha male. He's a very more masculine energy person. But that doesn't mean he doesn't need to strengthen also the feminine, because it was so suppressed that he became exhausted. He became resentful. Like, no amount of, oh, I appreciate you would ever hit the target, because he was so exhausted and like, nobody appreciates me. And it was so grungy, and we didn't know how to get that out. Well, in a 5-minute practice, you can get that out. We did it this 1 week every day, and it literally changed our relationship forever. And some of the people that did it yesterday in the workshop felt that same resolution. And so going from, oh my God, how am I going to survive this marriage? I don't know if this is going to work, to like, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky. I have the most amazing, hot, attractive partner. I want to eat him up. Like, that's mega. Most people just consider like, I guess it was really hot in the beginning, but you can't have that forever. It's not true. You can cultivate that. Life will depolarize you, right? That you're not in the alpha omega, a conscious alpha omega attraction. You can repolarize. Most people are doing sexuality and polarization from the first stage, unconsciousness, right? I have to have you. I'm going to have sex with you. I want you. I don't want you. I want you. And then I'm rejecting you. And like the back and forth of that duality. When we get to the second stage, I'm above it, right? I've transcended the human needs and desires, and I'm kind of like asexual. Well, that's not the full journey either, but we definitely need that stage. You've got to go beyond it before you can really consciously enter into it, which is the third stage. So I'm really, really grateful to have brought this work forward that's been so potent in changing my life. I learned to like reject manifestation. I shouldn't want that. I shouldn't do that. Maybe it's too much. I didn't know how to be in the conscious embodiment of enjoying my body, enjoying sexuality, and doing it, having a conscious sexual experience, enjoying food, enjoying, oh my God, I love to go and, I love the clothing and the style. And so I had a friend get me these beautiful earrings. I love them and it feels like a celebration of myself. So it's enhancing my spirituality, not with, pulling away from it. And what I had learned when I was at that second stage was like, no, I'm going to let go of all of it. I dyed my hair dark because I'd always liked being a blonde. So I kind of kept that up as I went through my life. Oh, sorry about that. So I'd always been blonde. And as I got older, I sort of like helped that out. But then there was this point where it's like, nope, I turned it off. I turned off any of the glam or those like layers because I was like, I want to be in deeper authenticity. And I did that. And it did deepen me. But there had to be a point of reemergence where I can celebrate the style I like, the blonde, the sparkly that someone told me last weekend in Phoenix. They're talking about glam. They're like, well, not Kinderamo level glam. And I was like, I'm glam? It was so fun. It's fun. It's joy. And the authentic joy is so a world difference from that first stage of, and you'll see the difference in a woman who's doing her face, her makeup, her hair, so she doesn't feel bad about herself or try to make herself feel worthy versus the third stage woman who is just an expression of her authentic bliss. And so I had to go through that journey and I found that joy and I let myself be free. Kim, you want to be blonde? Go be blonde. You want to wear this kind of clothes? Go have that. And now that expression, instead of being like a suppression of, I don't want to feel inadequate, so let me put more makeup on, which is not ever attractive. It becomes a radiance. It doesn't matter if you have makeup. It doesn't matter if you wear the earrings or the clothes, or like, it doesn't matter. There's radiance. And then the things are the cherry on top. Are you in full allowance of your organic expression? That's the thing that brings you more alive. That's the thing and nothing else. That is the most essential component. And then you could do your hair or not do your hair, right? Because sometimes it wouldn't be authentic. I'm like, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Let me just do this. It's okay. And I feel great, right? It's not conditional. My well-being is not conditional. And so let's look at that third stage. And I want you to share too. I'll read some of the comments. What does that look like for you? Because it's going to look totally different for you than it might look for me, someone else. Oh, where can I get the registration? Okay, it's drkimd.com/alive. And when you get access to the course, it's right there on the page, the recording of the workshop we did, as well as all the other stuff. So if you notice yourself doing things like makeup to make yourself feel better, how do you shift? And so in that course, there's one exercise called the mirror exercise, and you're going to bring it all up. You're going to let that underlying drive, which is creating suppression, arise, and you transmute that energy. You find your strength, and I walk you through those specifics. You find your strength, and it's a little nugget at a time. It's not this huge, big upheaval, or there'll be waves of that. It's very impactful, but you just take one step at a time to let these suppressive energies go. They're programs. You learned this mostly unconsciously and learned not to express your organic, right? Because it's very inconvenient in a world where it's kind of based on compliance, obedience, authority outside myself. You can't manipulate the individuals or the society when they connect with the power within themselves. So it's very inconvenient for the hierarchical structures to have you awaken. Right now, you don't need medicine. You have the radiance within you. Now you don't need, I got to put more makeup. Let me just get the next color. Oh, that's what I need. No, you're going to use it for joy, but it's probably going to be a lot less that you consume, right? Because there isn't that unending need and the empty pit of your own, inadequacy that you're trying to fill. So from the inside out, you access these spaces in you and you cultivate and you expand them. I've really been tuning into the energy that drives my actions. And I've released a lot of bad energies with that. I've let in more fun, probably why I'm a match to this. Yeah. Yeah. And so you can just pause like, oh, wait a minute. Why am I putting all this makeup on? Do I do it because I love myself and I want to show up and celebrate and decorate myself and put a little frosting? And usually it's going to be way more subtle than what I'm doing in the stage one, which is like layers upon layers, and it's actually tiring and it's exhausting me. So you pause. What am I feeling right now? So you will develop the ability to be present on a deeper level. What am I actually feeling? It's one of the big things we did in the workshop yesterday is I bring you through that integration. And in the course, you're integrating this work more and more deeply, video by video, exercise by exercise. Oh, thank you. The workshop yesterday and the program are amazing. I've been suppressing my feminine. This feels like the missing piece to awaken and be me. Thank you. It certainly was for me. It let me bring sort of more like the Buddhist spiritual, which is all like masculine based, and add that deepening to it of like, how do I now embody that divinity and be an expression of the feminine? I need more aliveness and vitality in my life. I'm so shut off from joy. I keep saying I'm too depressed and tired and broke to spend money on fun. Yeah. So you can't afford not to take that step. You can't afford not to activate your joy because you are a generator, right? You are not the debtor, you're the creditor. You're within you is the creator. And if you activate that embodiment, it will create the majesty that you're here to live, right? Health, wealth, love, all of it. You're a manifester. This resonates with me as I tap into how hiding myself has and is suppressing me and causing deep exhaustion and burnout. Heidi. Yeah, that was for me too, especially because I'm not a more masculine essence. I definitely have a lot of masculine energy and it's a strong, solid, healthy space. But then I was totally neglecting my feminine and I didn't know how to do that in a conscious way. Like I knew how to do it the stage one way. So there was like, no, that's wrong. Yeah, but it's not the embodiment that's wrong. It's doing it that way of the program that is not going to serve you. Yeah, and I was so burnt out, especially, being an ER doctor, working. It was exhausting. And I got so miserable and depressed. It was like, where's the fun? So I think what people tend to do is they'll like, oh, let me go out and drink and party. And they react against it. And so it's like unhealthy masculine, unhealthy feminine. Or they like do a bender and then lamp out all day on the couch or binge on Netflix. So if you find yourself doing like those overindulgent feminine behaviors, you're trying to activate Omega, you're trying to activate the divine feminine and get like a repletion, but you're doing it in unhealthy ways, right? Nothing wrong with watching some Netflix, but you're like, oh my God, it's like 3 hours of just like, I'm missing appointments or I'm not eating healthy food, right? I'm eating unhealthy. Like this is not actually good for me. That's the compensatory pattern, but it's not a healthy one. But what it means is your body, your system is looking to activate that divine feminine because there's more in store for you. So if you feel yourself like complaining about your partner, like, oh my God, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that, that's a really good sign you need to activate your Omega. There's really no one responsible for it but yourself. And it will be the greatest investment you've ever made to invest that the money and the time and the energy to sit with these practices. Thank you, Shaya. Hello, Sherry D. Oh my gosh, exciting to have people here. I know. So if you notice yourself doing things, oh yeah, we talked about that. Thank you. I'm glad this is speaking to you. Enjoying food has been big for me lately. Yeah, so that's another imbalance of Omega, right? If I give myself the freedom to fully enjoy that, fill in the blank, it's going to do it for me. It's fulfilling. If I'm doing it from emptiness, like all the hot dogs in the world are not going to get me there, because now I need another one and another one. And it's an addiction. And the addiction isn't just something like you can see. It might be like a pattern of behavior or complaining, or like, I don't know, hanging out with people that aren't really life-giving for you, but it's like, I'm just venting and working it out. There's a lot of ways you're going to see. So a lot of things that resonate with all the lives you did in the last month. It's so cool to have men be sharing this, because it's universal. Like, we've all been so suppressed in the feminine energy, and like, you don't even know what it is. When I learned this, I literally had to like have practices. What do I do? How do I activate this? Because it was so foreign. Mario did such an amazing job yesterday. He really helped me to see things from the man's perspective. Incredibly valuable, and changed my relationship. Yeah. That is awesome. I'm going to tell him, because this is funny. There's the link again for those of you who want to register. When I was with Kyle Cease a couple of weeks ago, he's always told me like, oh, there's this part of me that always wants like the mother energy to tell me I did a good job, and to like celebrate me and say, oh, that was great. So he came with his partner, Christy, and with me, and Alicia was there too. And he's like, how was it? Was it good? And I thought it was so funny, because it was adorable. He's letting himself be in that and receive, right? That's the feminine. And I realized my husband has that too. And I've kind of made it wrong when he like will do something and then want to be celebrated for it. And like, what he did is actually amazing, and like so advanced and so courageous and so giving. And yeah, we can do that from the stage 1, which is like, don't feed the ego. Or we can do it from the stage 3, which is a conscious celebration of ourselves. That's what the Omega loves. And I thought it was awesome, because after doing, he was on stage all weekend. This was with Kyle. That's very alpha, right? The outer, I'm giving, I'm doing this. And then to want to replete the Omega and have like these women that were around him. It was funny. It was 3 women, and receive. It's so repleting, because Omega feeds alpha. So whether it's in your single bodied practice or it's in a partnership, and I shared a breathing exercise Mario and I do that literally get our bodies, our electromagnetics in sync when we want to like physically be together, when we're just before bed, when we're after work and you're going to kind of like now come back together to have your evening. Don't neglect that. Don't neglect that. And within yourself, how is your masculine holding space for your feminine? Do you find yourself like, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm crying. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Like, don't apologize for your expression. It's organic and it's healthy and it feeds you, but it also contributes to others. So let it come through, and you could just say, thank you. Oh, thank you for witnessing the space of my expression. It's way more of a gift to that person than an apology. Jaria, yeah, I'm not in my joy. That is, kind of universal right now. So good for you for tuning into this. Oh, thank you. You can leave a review for the Mind Body Toolkit. This will be so greatly appreciated, you guys. We have, launched the audiobook, and we really would like to get reviews. Like, what did you think of the book? How did it help you? Why did you buy it? Whatever you want to put on the Amazon. And I think it's Alicia there on Facebook has put that link, so you can click on that. Please, please, please. We would greatly appreciate it, because people sometimes really want to see the reviews, but also it helps the book become seen, that people are like, whoa, somebody read this book. Maybe you should too. And it will actually become more available for the people who are looking for this kind of information, so that they can find it. So it's really helpful. I love you, love you, love you. And thank you so much for writing a review for our book. I know people have really, really loved the book. And since we've got the new listing now, we want to have those Reviews. Gorgeous workshop yesterday. In addition to my boyfriend and I, so many on the call, every couples therapist and couples they work with would greatly benefit. Yeah, I felt this too. Like you're shifting the energy. You're not in the story. You're not in the therapy of like, well, here's what happens. And then this, and then, his history of this and my history of that. We sat in a couples therapy session one time. I think it was like maybe a year into our marriage, maybe 2, I don't know. And it was miserable. And we were like really glitchy. But when we went to this therapist, it was like so in the mind. And like I'd shared about all the stuff I'd been carrying, and he shared all about the stuff he's been carrying. And then the guy was like, okay, we're going to need to do a lot of really deep work here. And I felt so heavy and like, we got a babysitter. We drove across town. We went to this thing. He's like, we're going to really dig in every week for about 6 months. And then, and I'm like, I don't think this is the right thing. So we left and we got in the elevator and he's like, so what'd you think? He said, I think if we got a babysitter every week and went out on a date together, we're not going to need couples therapy. And he's like, I think so too. And it was true. And we enjoyed ourselves like never before. And we pretty much kept that weekly date night years and years and years and years and years as we went through. And we always, because what are you doing? You're entraining your body, you're establishing a connection. That connection is so powerful, and it helped us work out any ways that those nitty-gritty things would have affected us. They didn't play out in our relationship. So doing this alignment work is way more powerful than what I have found with that kind of path. And that, that's different for everybody. So not saying universally one is right or wrong. All right, you guys, I definitely need to find my fun again. I know. You will. It's in you. Sherry shared your course with someone else. She said she wanted to take it as a home study course at her own pace. Yeah, it is a home study course at your own pace. And you can take it later. Yes. The workshop we did is recorded. So you have that. There is a live follow-up call that I'm doing in like 2 weeks. So if you are in there now, if you register now, you'll be there for the live follow-up call with me to ask questions and all of that. But either way is absolutely okay. The content is all recorded, so you can do that when you're ready. Yes, I agree. This workshop is what my body is screaming for. I don't know if my husband will get on board, but I want to activate it in myself, and maybe he'll become open. Well, that was what happened for me. I have a husband who's super eager about this stuff. Like he's always interested in anything that's going to enrich our lives. And that's like the major place we invest is our growth and the experiences that enrich our lives. And when I started doing this work, he was like, you do it and you do what you need to do. And I was like, and I shared about this yesterday in the workshop. I was like, what? Of course you're going to do this with me. And then I realized, oh, there's something for me to shift first, because a layer of it was like, oh, we're going to do this work and we're going to fix some stuff. And part of what we're fixing is you. That is the most off-putting energy to a man, to anybody really. And you can't say yes to that. Right. So anytime I'm in an agenda, he'll respond to that. And then I just usually look at that like, all right, what do I need to shift so I can be the invitation? Which is a lot about what a live woman is like, how can I be the invitation to lots of money effortlessly flowing into my life? How can I be the embodiment of the invitation for like amazing energy, strength, joy in my body? How can I show up as the invitation to my partner to get on board for like, hey, let's create this. Let's do it this way. Let's go on this trip, or whatever it might be that I'm inspired about. Where most of us have been with our desires is in shutdown. Why won't you give me this? Why can't I have that? Oh, will you stop doing it that way? We don't know how to be the invitation for those desires, right? That's okay. It's because of the program. We've been living in a program. So it has us feel kind of hopeless and grungy. And that was one of the things we moved on the call yesterday, right? The hopelessness of I'm not going to get what I want. But you can't actually manifest it when you're buying into the hopelessness, when you're living from the complaint. And it takes a lot of courage to live from the receptive, the receiver, the soft, when there's so much pain. And so that's what this course is designed for, is let's move you through that. Let's move you beyond that, not away from that, because that's rejection. Let's move you through that. All right. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, especially if you had an amazing experience yesterday. We'll be in the MindBody community in Facebook. You can share that invitation with anyone you like who is ready to enter a group like this. I'm here every Wednesday live at 11 a.m. Mountain Time for MindBody TV. It is broadcast in my YouTube channel. Be sure and subscribe, hit the bell, hit the like if you are resonating with this work, and subscribe in YouTube. And if you're in Facebook, we'll see you in the MindBody community. Jessica and Alicia and many members of our team are in there to assist you in integrating this work. Anyone interested? Top tips for for hair coloring? That could be fun. That is me. Every day I keep trying to fix myself. Yeah, and that was me too. Be really compassionate with yourself. It was never ending. Tapping, meditation, reading books. How do I get out of this loop that helps and then doesn't help? Well, a lot of the practices in the Alive Woman course are for that. They're for cultivating that omega and the sensuality. Sensuality grounds you into your body. So that was me as well. I was like listening to, like, I don't know, podcasts, learning this, learning that. And that's awesome. And I love that. But then there was like a whole piece of it where it was like, is that really what I feel like doing right now? Do I need that much of this? What about dance? What about music? And so there's a whole piece in the Alive Woman course called Liquid Dance. And it's how to access the authentic, the organic expression, how to be the expression of that organic, and how to let it heal you, because it will clear out the densities, the programming, the trauma, and let it move through your body with the embodiment in Liquid Dance. And it's fun. Like, even if it's intense stuff coming up and you're breathing and it's like, it feels awesome to connect with the organic embodiment. So give yourself space, let it look like whatever it looks like, and play with that. My healing from narcotic abuse in this crazy state. I'm healing from narcotic abuse, and in this crazy stage, I'm eating and binging one step at a time. Well, and that's the same thing too, is how do I sit with the energies that are rising and just pause before having to suppress them or medicate them? So learning this art is really useful for all of that. Living and working in a male-dominated profession, large firm architecture, was like working in a desert. There was no nurturing and a lot of competition. This was very hard for me as a male. Yeah. And if you have the muse, which is not necessarily you have this partner, but it will show up in your partnerships. If you have it within you, where you learn how to make space for the divine feminine and the omega expression, you could replete enough to keep moving through that in joy. If it is your true path, it could also be that it'll awaken you to do something totally different. You know, I stepped out of emergency medicine and the medical system, the mainstream, pharmaceutical system. I stepped out of that completely. So my organic did bring me to create something totally different. And that may or may not be true for you, but it will bring you into something that is working, that is joyful, that you have the energy to do it, and you're receiving fulfillment from it, and you're getting the repletion. My husband is actually trying to step more into his masculine energy to provide better for our family. Would understanding the feminine still help me? Yes, this is the greatest way to activate the masculine in your partner, is to polarize it. What I had been doing so much was I'm in my alpha, I'm in my masculine, and it like depolarized us. And then like I saw the men I would date would like not be making money, or I just left my job, and I'm like, this is a super like high income earner, provider, masculine guy. But then when I came along, it was like, so it depolarized. And when I learned to embody my omega, like it is freaking skyrocketing what my man is doing. The power and the energy and the passion and the opportunities that opened for him that are like 10xing his life. It is unbelievable. So that was a real art for me to learn. Is like, first of all, how do I stop depolarizing? Because that was like the bigger thing. And how do I charge it up? And he's freaking a rocket ship now. So that is the most powerful thing you can do. We don't realize this, but there's a lot of ways we're emasculating either the men in our lives or even like other people in our lives. And it is cutting off our abundance. So like, that's another thing you'll start to see is like, wait a minute. Am I trying to take away everyone's power because I feel threatened? Like all these subconscious behaviors. So getting more conscious is really the powerful thing. All right. I love you guys. Oh, Rachel feels so much lighter after yesterday. We had the workshop in the Alive Woman program. It's like a huge weight has been lifted. So enlightening. You're so beautiful. Thank you, love. It's awesome. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, I need this course. I'm so glad I can take it later after saving the money up. Yeah. And so get out of need. And need is a lack versus like, oh, I'm in delight. Yes, there are resources available for me. I'm awaiting, allowing it to come in. I'm openly anticipating and receptive to let that come in. And you'll see even just that electromagnetic shift, because now you soften your body, the open, wet, I'm a receiver, the money will come in. Like it'll be unexpected. Just like, oh my God, didn't even know, boom. And it will come in because you've activated receiving. So don't wait, be in the energy of it now. Like this was created for me. I'm a goddess. I'm fully worthy of receiving all of this and more. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then be in the energy of that gratitude and delight. That's how money shows up. That is exactly how we let everything show up. And that's really why I created this course. So I love you guys. I am so grateful you're here. The book is at drkimd.com/book. We would love you to write a review, please. I know that's more like a favor because it's really more contributing to the work, but it is a contribution to you if you see the power of this, because the more this shows up in your world, the more you receive, the world awakening. And I know the power of what is possible with this work, with this book. It's available on audio through Audible. So we're really excited to share that. All right. I love you guys. I'll be here next week and it will be, I think that's going to be, we're going to continue here. I have a special guest, but I think it's like 2 weeks from now. So stay tuned. Thank you guys for joining. And I look forward to seeing you soon. I'm at drkimd.com. Subscribe and YouTube, Dr. Kim Duramo. And I'll see you in the MindBody community in Facebook. Lots of love. And I'll see you for Alive Woman if you so dare. Love you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.